There's something I want to tell you, something simple, so simple, and yet something so profound. It's just salt. Yes, salt. The same salt you hold in your kitchen, the same salt that seasons your food. But I want you to hear me with your spirit. This salt isn't just for taste, it's a sign, it's a shadow, a sacred symbol used by God throughout the ages. In the Old Covenant, salt was used in every offering. In the New Covenant, Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth." So I invite you, take salt, take it with faith, and place it in these 5 places in your house and just watch what happens. Oh, the stories I could tell. Sprinkle it there, softly, quietly, and say, "Holy Spirit, come in." Darkness, you may not cross this threshold. It is not superstition. It is not ritual. It is covenant. Salt at the door becomes a declaration that this house is not ordinary. It belongs to the King of Kings. Where dust gathers, where shadows linger, put salt in the corners and speak light. Speak truth. For the enemy loves to hide in silence, but salt reveals and heals. It's a sign that there is nothing hidden that won't be brought into the light of God's mercy. This is where bread is broken, where mothers cry, where children laugh. Salt, there is a cry to heaven, "Bless this house, multiply our oil, multiply our flour." If he could feed 5,000 with a few loaves and fish, he can feed your home too. Salt, not for war, but for peace. Place it near the headboard and say, "Let this room be holy ground. Let no nightmare enter, let no fear survive. May dreams be filled with the whisper of heaven, for this is where you are made clean." Let the salt remind you, he washes you, he renews you. Each morning, each night, this too is sacred. There is no place too small, too common for the presence of the holy, where wind flows and the world peeks in. Guard your eye gates, your ear gates. Whisper over that salt, "Let only what is of God come in, and only what is God honoring go out." My friend, this is not magic. This is not performance. This is faith. Simple, believing faith that God still honors symbols, that he still sees the humble heart, that he still walks the halls of homes where he is invited. Put salt in these 5 places and watch what happens. The atmosphere will shift. Tears will come. Peace will flow like a river. And somewhere in the silence, you'll know he is here. Salt at the doorway. Just a few grains, just a quiet act. And yet, how powerful. The doorway is not just a piece of wood and hinges. It's the place of entrance, the boundary between the world outside and the sanctuary within. It is the threshold where battles are won or lost, where spirits linger, where influences cross over unnoticed. That's why you must claim it. When you take salt and place it at the entrance of your home, you're not doing something meaningless. You are making a statement in the spirit. You are saying, this place is under divine covenant. No darkness may pass. No curse may cross. No evil may dwell here. Salt of the doorway is not a superstition. It is an act of faith. Faith that God still honors symbols. That the blood of the Lamb is still powerful over the doorposts, just as it was in Egypt on the night of deliverance. When the angel of death passed by, it was the mark that kept them safe. So too, when you sprinkle salt at your door, you're aligning yourself with heaven. You're drawing a line in the spirit and saying, only what is holy, only what is pure may come through here. And as you do it, don't just sprinkle. Pray. Pray with your heart open. Speak out loud if you can. Say, Holy Spirit, be the keeper of this home. Let every person who walks through this door encounter peace, encounter healing, encounter you. There is a reason Jesus called his people the salt of the earth. Salt purifies. Salt preserves. Salt carries covenant. In the ancient world, people would seal agreements with salt because it was lasting, it was incorruptible. That's what this is. A lasting, incorruptible covenant between your house and the presence of God. And when you do it in faith, something happens. You may not see it right away, but peace begins to settle. The atmosphere shifts. There's a quiet knowing. The King is here, and where he is, no evil can remain. So go to your doorway, take the salt in your hands, pray over it, declare the promises of God, and as you place it there, whisper softly, "This house belongs to Jesus." And then just watch what happens. There's something about the corners, the places no one sees, the quiet edges of the room where dust gathers, where time forgets to look. But the spirit realm does not forget. Darkness loves to hide. Not in the loud or the obvious, but in the quiet corners, the overlooked spaces, the unspoken wounds. When you take salt and place it in the corners of your home, you are doing more than cleaning a space. You are proclaiming spiritual truth. There will be no hidden darkness here, no secret fear, no lingering shadow. You see, the enemy doesn't always come through the front door. Sometimes he settles quietly in small things left unaddressed, bitterness, heaviness, silent grief, things you stopped talking about, emotions you tucked away, arguments that lingered in the walls, trauma that echoes in the silence. Salt is powerful because it's pure. It cannot mix with corruption. It was used in ancient offerings as a sign of covenant, as something holy. When you place salt in those forgotten places, in the corners, you are saying, even here God reigns. And as you do, speak to the darkness, speak to the memories, speak to the atmosphere. Say, let every hidden thing come into the light. Let the spirit of truth sweep through this house. Don't be surprised if tears come. Don't be alarmed if emotions rise. That's healing. That's God cleaning out the corners of your heart as well as your home. Because what's physical often mirrors what's spiritual. And sometimes putting salt in the corners is the beginning of letting God into the corners of your soul. It's not about the ritual. It's about the invitation. It's about saying, Lord, I give you even this, even the places I don't talk about, even the things I pretend I've moved on from. Salt in the corners declares that no part of your home and no part of your heart is too hidden, too dark, or too far gone for the light of God to reach. And once again, you'll find the atmosphere changes. Peace settles, and light begins to rise. Because when the light walks in, the darkness must flee every time. The kitchen, it's more than a room. It's the heart of the home. It's where life is stirred, where laughter echoes, where prayers are whispered between chopping vegetables and boiling pots. It's where families gather, where stories are told, where tears fall into the dough and hope rises like fresh bread. When you place salt in the kitchen, you're not just seasoning a room. You are blessing the place of provision. You're inviting the God of abundance to take his place as provider once more. You are saying, Lord, bless what we have, multiply what we hold, and sanctify all that comes from this place. In Scripture, salt was part of every grain offering. It was a sign of covenant, of preservation, of divine favor over the very act of giving. And what is the kitchen if not a daily altar where we give what we have and hope it's enough? Maybe your cupboards aren't always full. Maybe your hands have known lack. But when you place salt there, you're reminding heaven and yourself that you serve the God who fed Elijah with ravens, the God who filled empty jars with oil, the God who took 2 fish and 5 loaves and fed thousands. He has not changed. Salt in the kitchen becomes a prayer. Let no child in this house go hungry. Let every meal be blessed. Let the work of our hands be fruitful. It's also a place of gratitude, a place where you stop and say thank you, even for the little, especially for the little. Because gratitude opens the door to miracles, because when you thank Him for the flour, He begins to multiply it. And let me say this, when you put salt in the kitchen, you're also declaring peace over the atmosphere. Because sometimes the kitchen holds more than food. It holds stress. It holds silent tension. It holds the pressure of not knowing if tomorrow will be enough. But salt says otherwise. Salt says, I believe in Jehovah Wirehair. I believe in daily bread. I believe that what I have is enough because my God is more than enough. So take that salt, hold it in your hand, bless it with your words, and place it gently in your kitchen. Maybe near the stove or by the pantry or where the meals are served. Let it speak. Let it stand. Let it remind you and the spirit realm that this home is under divine provision. And then just watch what happens. The pots may not overflow, but your heart will. And sometimes that's the real miracle. The bedroom, this sacred space where the soul retreats, where the body rests, where dreams unfold in the quiet of the night. It's the room where vulnerability lives, where tears fall unseen on pillows, where battles are fought in silence, where fear sometimes whispers in the darkness, and where the longing for peace is at its deepest. When you place salt in your bedroom, you are doing something beautiful, something bold. You are not decorating, you are declaring that this room will not be a battlefield of the mind, but a sanctuary of the spirit. That this will not be a place of restlessness, but of divine rest. You are saying, Lord, take your place here. Let your peace rule this room. Salt, in all its simplicity, carries a deep message. Purity, preservation, covenant. It wards off what corrupts. It holds what is sacred. And when it sits quietly in the bedroom, it becomes a silent intercessor, standing between you and every anxious thought, every oppressive weight, every haunting fear. The salt doesn't hold the power. Faith does. But when you place it there in faith, something shifts because you're inviting the Prince of Peace into your most personal space. You're saying, I refuse to let nightmares have dominion. I reject the presence of fear. I welcome the Spirit of God to hover over me as I sleep. Some of the most intense spiritual warfare happens at night, in dreams, in thoughts, in sleepless hours of worry. But the bedroom was never meant to be a battleground. It was meant to be a garden. A place where God walks with you in the cool of the evening. A place where heaven can speak in visions and whispers while your body rests. Salt in the bedroom is a quiet cry to heaven. Give me peace, Lord, the kind the world cannot give. Guard this space. Let no unclean thing linger here. Let your angels stand watch as I sleep. And oh, the change that comes. You might find yourself resting more easily, breathing more deeply. You might wake up with clarity. You might dream dreams that carry divine messages. Because where peace is welcomed, revelation follows. So take the salt, hold it in your hands, bless it with your words. Place it near your bed or beneath it or on the windowsill. Let it rest there as a sign, a covenant that this room, this sacred space belongs not to fear, but to faith. And then sleep and see what happens. For he gives his beloved rest. The bathroom, a place most don't think twice about. It's functional, ordinary, tucked away behind closed doors. But even here, God speaks. Even here, there is purpose. Because this is the place of cleansing, the place of washing, the place where what is no longer needed is released and where newness begins. When you place salt in the bathroom, you're not just purifying a physical space. You're aligning it with a spiritual truth that God is the one who cleanses us fully, deeply, lovingly. You are declaring, let this room be more than routine. Let it be a place of daily renewal, inside and out. Salt, with its ancient significance, has always been a symbol of purity, of preservation, of covenant. In the days of the temple, every offering was seasoned with salt, because salt represents what endures, what is pure, what cannot be corrupted. And so, in this space of water and washing, salt becomes a symbol of surrender, a reminder that we don't just wash our hands. We ask God to cleanse our hearts. We don't just rinse away dirt. We ask him to rinse away shame, regret, heaviness, sin. Because there are moments when we look in the mirror and feel the weight of our own failures, when we stand under the water hoping not just to feel clean, but to be made clean, when we long for the kind of purity only God can give, the kind that runs deeper than skin, deeper than habit, deeper than history. Salt in the bathroom is a whisper to the soul. You are being renewed. You are not what you were yesterday. The old is gone. The new has come. It's a prophetic act, a declaration that cleansing is not just a physical act, but a holy one, that healing begins in the private places, that God moves even in the hidden routines of life. So place it with intention, near the sink, beside the mirror, tucked by the shower. Let it be a gentle reminder. God sees you, God washes you, God restores you. And as the water flows each day, so too does grace, so too does mercy, so too does the power of God renewing you again and again. Because even in the bathroom, holiness is possible. Even here, God dwells even here. Transformation begins. The windows, those open spaces between the inside and the outside world, the places where light enters, and sometimes so does distraction, noise, confusion, or even oppression. The windows are symbolic gateways of the Spirit. What comes through them matters more than we know. So when you place salt on the windowsills, you are not decorating, you are guarding. You are drawing a line in the spirit realm and saying, nothing unclean, nothing unholy, nothing sent to disturb the peace of this home shall pass through these gates. It's not about superstition, it's about intention. Salt has always been a symbol of purity, preservation, and divine covenant. When you place it with faith, it becomes more than a mineral. It becomes a message to the enemy that this house has been marked, a message to heaven that you welcome only what is of God. Windows let in the wind, the view, the sound, and yes, the spiritual atmosphere of the world around us. That's why it matters to guard them, to pray over them, to anoint them not just with oil, but even with salt. Something that has spoken of divine separation for centuries. It's a way of saying, Lord, filter what comes into my home. Let no spirit of fear, no voice of chaos, no storm of distraction enter here. And it's also a prayer for what flows out of your house. That every word spoken, every thought expressed, every act of love or service seen from within those windows would glorify God. Salt on the windowsills is about stewardship, about taking spiritual responsibility for your space, about recognizing that the home is not just where we eat and sleep, it is where we worship, where we rest, where we fight our unseen battles, and where we win them. And yes, the atmosphere changes. There's a stillness that settles, a clarity in the air. Because you've welcomed the presence of God, and He always honors the humble act of faith. So take the salt, pray over it, and gently place it on the windowsills of your home. Say aloud if you can, this home is guarded. These gates are sealed. Only what is holy may enter. Only what is blessed may. And then stand still and see what happens. Peace will not just visit, it will stay. And now we come to the end of this simple yet sacred journey. Salt in your hand, in your home, in your heart. Who would have thought that something so small, so ordinary, could carry such deep spiritual power? But isn't that just like God? To use the humble things, the unnoticed things, a handful of salt, a mustard seed of faith, a widow's jar, a shepherd's sling, because He doesn't need grandeur to move. He just needs willingness. He just needs someone to believe. You've placed the salt at the doorway, declaring protection. You've placed it in the corners, uncovering hidden darkness. You've placed it in the kitchen, inviting blessing and provision. You've placed it in the bedroom, welcoming peace and divine rest. You've placed it in the bathroom, surrendering to purification and renewal. You've placed it on the windowsills, guarding the gates of your soul and your sanctuary. And through every act, though simple in the natural, you've spoken something mighty in the spirit. This house belongs to God. This family is covered. This atmosphere is holy. Let no one convince you that this was just a ritual. No, this was a declaration, a prophetic stand, a silent prayer spoken louder than any noise, that God is welcome here. And now, wait, watch, listen. The peace will come. The atmosphere will shift. The heaviness will lift. And something sacred will begin to dwell where salt now rests. Because where there is faith, He responds. Where there is holiness, He inhabits. Where there is a heart that invites Him, He comes. So live in this house, not just with walls and windows, but with glory and grace. Let every room echo with His presence. Let every step you take be on holy ground. And remember this, beloved. Sometimes the miracle begins with something as small as a grain of salt.